Hello and welcome. We are live talking about why or how do men fall in love. And I know you guys who are already viewing and you're like, whoops, there goes my light. Showing you my tricks, showing you my tricks. You guys are like, this should be good. And you're right, it will be good. So we are talking about how do men fall in love? Is it any different than women? So I'm coming to you from Prague, live. Obviously, I've said that. And so I'm just not so keen on this lighting, but here we are. So yeah, I travel a lot. If you're new here, you should know that I do travel a lot. So I'm always doing YouTubes and the most random Airbnbs. So from America, but always traveling the world. I've been living in Bali for the past 5 years here and there, and now in Europe and trying to make that a full-time thing. So let's talk about this. How do men fall in love? Also, before I even get started, and I'm going to respond to you guys in the chats because I can see them because I am magic and I have peripheral vision and I can see what you guys are saying while I'm talking. But before I respond to you guys, I want you, if you are new here, I created the most magical thing that I believe it is called a mind movie, which is basically a connection meditation. And it is I think that when we're talking about relationship advice and we're talking about love, that a lot of knowledge is great, but what creates change is having an experience. It's having an encounter with love. And so when we have an experience, we're more open to receiving love. So, what I did was I created something instead of just giving you guys more advice, which I have over 600 videos here on YouTube. Instead of giving you more advice, which there's tons of it here, I wanted to create an experience for you guys. I wanted you to help feel safe with love, to tap into your subconscious, to let your body, your nervous system feel safe. Because most of the time, when we've gone through hard times, when we've had bad experiences with love, it hijacks our subconscious. We start having blocks inside of us. Our nervous system goes to whack. And frankly, it just becomes very hard to get new connection, get new love, walk into a new relationship. And so I created this connection meditation just so that you could have a new experience, so that when you listen to my voice, when you listen to this music, that it soothes your body, it soothes your mind, it prepares you to go, I am worthy of love. I am capable of love, to invigorate your spirit to be loved. So without further ado, go to my website, aricaangelo.com. Erica's with an A. There is no E in my name. And go get that meditation. You can watch it as a little mind movie, or you can download it. And I highly encourage you, listen to it every morning when you first wake up and right before you go to bed. Listen to it again, because that is when your subconscious is in a more receptive state to be able to receive. So make sure that you get that. So I already see Orville says signed up love for your mind movie. Nice job. So glad you liked it. Ninja Wolf said, I did the meditation like you asked me to yesterday. I'm so proud of you. Orville says, Prague, awesome. Yeah, Prague is beautiful. I don't know if you guys seen my Instagram stories, but I posted some stuff and the pictures they don't even do it justice. It's so beautiful here. Nathan, you did the meditation this morning. That is wonderful. Tell me what you thought about it. I want to hear what you thought about it. At least I thought it was the right one. Yes, I hope it is. RDYT says everything is a revolving door now, so it's super difficult. I wonder what you mean by that. Okay, guys. So when it comes to love, And when it comes to the way that men fall in love, oh, came into this. I forgot to watch the video, but I've been doing the meditation since I got from your site. Wonderful. Sean, oh, Sean, just so there's this new thing. It's called Super Chat on YouTube. They just released it. I just installed it. So basically, if you ever like, I love Erica's work. Maybe I don't want to buy your products right now, but I just love your work. That there's a way through Super Chat, just like what Sean did. He just gave $5. And so it's like, I just want to show Erica some love. I appreciate what she does. Maybe I don't need coaching, or maybe I have her products, but I still want to show her that I love her and I support her and I believe in her mission. You can do that with a Super Chat. It's just a little dollar sign there. And then you can, I don't know what all your options are, but you can post emojis, you can post all sorts of things, but it highlights you. And Sean is one of my beloved emotional warriors. He has been one of my ride or dies, and we've had some really deep conversations, and it's been a beautiful journey. Helping Sean evolve and becoming his own emotional warrior. And I'm just super proud of him. And thank you so much for that, Sean. That really touches me. You're the first one to do this for me. So thank you. Ninja Wolf, yes, you can do the meditation anytime. Really, you can do it anytime you feel the need, but I just say get in the habit for at least 30 days of listening to it in the morning and in the evening, so that you can develop a new habit, develop new receptors to be able to receive love. Caligula Bear, you're so sweet. He just gave me $20. He says, I'm glad you've started using Super Chat. Caligula, am I super late to the game about this? Has everyone else been using this except for me? I just figured this thing out just a couple of days ago. Thank you so much. Caligula Bear is also one of my emotional warriors who when I used to have a membership program, he was one of my members, and he and I, man, we spent months together, and he just has such a big heart for himself, for self-development, and just listening to his journey with his girlfriend and seeing him go from a single guy to being in a relationship was just beautiful. And we all were connecting right as Corona was happening. So that was some really wild times. Very grateful for you. Thank you so much for that. That means the world to me. Thank you guys. You guys put like a massive smile on my face. Thank you so much. So I think when it comes to love and it comes to men and women, um, I this is my personal thought system. I think there's a lot of divide between men and women. And I don't ever want to come at this and say men and women are the same, because there's lots of differences between men and women. But I think that when we polarize men and women, we say, oh, men do it this way, and women do it this way. And we're just so different. And then you have that book, Men Are From Mars, Women Are From Venus. And it creates this, while it's very polarizing, what it ends up doing is it ends up creating a lot of friction and confusion. It makes us sound like we're just aliens trying from different planets trying to talk to each other, and it's just such a phenomenon that's just too much to comprehend. And I have to say, I just need to speak my truth. I need to be honest with you guys. Listen, I've been coaching men and women for 14 years. The majority of my career, it started off with women, then I worked with men. Now I'm back to serving both men and women, which is why you're starting to see more videos that talk to women as well. I know I still have a lot of you guys here, but here's the thing. In my 14 years of supporting people with coaching, I will tell you that there are some similarities that we cannot deny. And so when people fall in love, it's not like men are these aliens and it's like, we have this weird way of falling in love. And if women don't understand it, we will not fall in love with them. It's BS. And it's the same thing for women. It's like, oh, all women just fall in love with this way. And it's just like, no, there are just some core things that men and women both need to fall in love. So Are there some differences? Yes, there are. I don't ever want to say, oh, men and women are just all the same. I don't believe in that. I believe we do have our differences. But I think that there are some core things that every human being needs. And that in itself is what binds us together. That is what makes relationship possible. Because if we were just so completely opposite, we couldn't do relationship together because we couldn't relate. The reason why we relate to another human being is because there's some form of affinity, some kind of bond, something that we both see life with the same pair of eyes. Somewhere there is an agreement between one another that it's like, I have the same view as you, I have the same values as you. And so I think when we give a lot of advice and we polarize men and women from being so extremely different, that we negate the mere fact that there are some core principles that every human being has a desire for. And what happens is when we negate those core desires and we focus on the polarization of the differences between men and women, what we end up doing is creating a huge divide, which is us versus them. And I see a lot of that. I see it in videos, I see it in comments, I see it from other dating and relationship experts, I see it in the comments from men, and it creates a massive divide, which is the exact opposite of love. Love is about connecting us with one another to show us that there's safety in finding one another and finding that love and that we can connect in that safety. But when it's us versus them, that obliterates all chances of being loved because you think that the other person is your enemy. And that's what I see a lot of advice doing, is almost polarizing it so far to the extreme that we start feeling like the opposite sex is our enemy. And you hear women saying like, all men are F boys, or all women are gold diggers, and that anger and that hurt that is anchored in confusion and past experiences that have been painful. And when we do that and we don't look at the opposite sex and say, that is another human being who, just like me, we share the commonality that each of us want to be loved, that we show up in this world with open hearts, receptive, wanting to be able to receive love, doing all that we can to position ourselves to be loved. We forget that we each share that commonality. But too much advice is creating too much of a divide. And when there's too much of a divide, it insinuates fear. And we all know we've been in a cycle for a very long time, for the past couple of years, where we have been inundated with fear by, this pandemic, and now talk of recession, and this war and this shooting, and it's just fear after fear after fear after fear. And what that insinuates is we can't trust each other, we can't feel safe in this world, we cannot connect, and if we cannot connect, we cannot be loved. It's as simple as that. So now that I've gotten off my soapbox and shared what I feel so passionate about, I will now share with you. Derek says, good morning. Enjoying your words of wisdom. Thank you. Love you always. Thank you so much. Orville says, your content is phenomenal. Erica, both for men and women. Yes. And Calugo Bear says, yes, I guess I've been super late to super chat. Uh, Nathan says, is it me, or treat everyone as an individual and not just guys and or gals? I completely agree. Like, everyone is a unique human being with the capacity to be loved, and to be loved in a significant and in a unique, special way. But if we don't take the time to see that person because we're so afraid that they're so different and we create this divide amongst one another, then we never have that capacity to actually love one another. Gaza says, hi, my beautiful friend. Hello, my darling. Davey says, hope you're enjoying your vacation. You know what? I don't ever, here's the funny thing. You guys see me travel a lot, but I actually don't actually just vacation a lot. Isn't that weird? It looks like my life is a vacation because I'm either in Bali or I'm in Europe, or I'm always doing these amazing things, but I'm always working. So I haven't just unplugged in years to where I just took like 2 full weeks off. Like, I haven't done that, I don't know, in a very long time. I mean, I'm here and I'm working. Isn't that funny? Mahara says back to back of Arica live videos should be an everyday occurrence. I know, I really am loving these live videos because I love this chat option. I love that you guys show up. I love that you provide your feedback. I love to hear your opinions. I love to hear your conflict and where you're struggling. I think that that humanizes the experience. So you guys make these live chats extra special. So I'm completely grateful to have you guys here with me. Orville says, great soapbox. Juan says, I'll have to watch later at work. Have a wonderful day, Juan. Know that you are so, so loved and just so grateful to have your presence here. Nirvana says, what's the big deal of having love? We can talk about that. That's a great question. Ninja Wolf says, what if they're having a battle of the sexes? I kind of like that game. That excites me. I think it excites us all. Let's be honest. Okay. So, how do men fall in love? I had someone recently share with me. I was asking them some questions. They're married, they have children. And I said to this person, I said, what was it about your wife that made you fall in love? Because this guy had dated quite a bit and, had his fair share of relationships. And I said, but what was so special about your wife that you're like, that's it. I'm going to do life with this person. I'm putting a ring on her finger. We're moving in. We're sharing incomes. We're bringing human lives on this planet. We are doing our careers together. Like, what was it about her that made her so special that she was the one that gave you that sort of vision? And he said two things. He said, one, Arica, I was just in a place where I was ready. I was ready to find someone. And I think that is for men and for women. I think for both of us, like when it comes to finding love, there has to be an element of us that we are positioned and ready for love. I know that love can kind of catch us off guard at times, but it is a positioning in the heart. Like if you're just flat out not ready, you're like, I don't believe in love, I don't trust love, and those gates are closed in your heart, it's hard for love to come in because you're actually saying, I'm resistant to it, I don't want it. But when you position yourself, when you're like, you know what, it would be really nice to be loved. That in itself, it's like pointing the compass. Imagine your heart as a compass and it's pointing it in the direction in which it wants to go. And it's like, yeah, I'm open to love. Even if you're not doing anything about it, you're at least positioning yourself to say, I am receptive to this experience coming into my life. So he said for him, first and foremost, it was focus. He got very clear. He got very focused on this is what I want for my life. And then the second thing he said was these very strong words. And I think that these words are not used enough when it comes to communicating about men and love. I think that this word we typically associate with women. And this is why I went on my huge soapbox about so much polarity, where it creates a divide, where it creates an us versus them mentality, as opposed to we're all human beings who are in dire need of being loved. And he said it was this word. He said, Arica, my wife made me feel safe. And that's huge. I'm very curious because I know there are a lot of men here right now in this chat. As a man, would you say that a woman making you feel safe, is that something that would mean the world to you? I'm curious to hear your thoughts. Hey, Doug, glad to have you here. Good morning, Blair. I'm so grateful you're here. Maria with T and Telly. PJ, what is PJ? Orville Nation, please share stream on social media for Arica. Thank you. Yeah, guys, I never even think to remind you guys to do that. But yes, please, 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 please share my work with your friends. That would help me out tremendously. Nathan says, yeah, for me it would. If a woman made you feel safe, that's gonna pull you to want to fall in love with this woman. Mahara says, I'm attempting your advice on flirting on social media. Instead of saying, let's meet for wine, since I don't drink alcohol, could I say coffee or tea? You absolutely can. Just make sure it's a very cool place. Because you want it to be an exciting experience, not just a typical Starbucks. It's like, then you feel like you're going for a meeting or an interview. Kim Tay says, I share your channel with my girls. Thank you, Kim. I'm so grateful for you. Thank you for doing that. That means the world to me. He said that. He said, she made me feel safe. And when a man feels like a woman is loving him or accepting him, let's start off with accepting him. Accepting him is saying, like, I accept who you are. I accept how you want to do life. Like, like for my partner, like he loves to cycle, he loves to run, and I'm always pushing him, like, go do it, like get out and go do it, go enjoy, go be in life. And it's like when there's something that we're passionate about, and the person that we're dating or we're with, when they encourage us to do more of what we're excited about, what we're passionate about, what that is essentially saying is, I accept you. I celebrate you. I encourage you to do more of what makes you feel good, what makes you feel alive. In doing that, that essentially says to a person, I accept you. And when a person feels accepted, they feel safe. When a person feels accepted, they feel loved. And so that's why I talk so much about self love, self acceptance, using your voice, because when you are able to accept yourself as a person, the good, the bad, the indifferent, when you're able to accept all of yourself, guess what? You're more in a position to be able to accept someone else as well. So when they show up and they have differences, and you go, I love your differences. Your differences make you unique. Yeah, you might be different from me, but I love that that's what you do and that works for you. And I really dig that about you. What that says to the other person is, whoa, I am being celebrated just for who I am. What a concept. What a beautiful concept that another human being is accepting me and loving me for who I am. Now, here's the thing. Here is the difference. As I said, I do believe that we share a commonality, but I do not, when in saying that, that doesn't lock me into the belief system that men and women are completely the same. That's not what I'm saying here. So the commonality that we have is, yeah, at the end of the day, we as human beings, in order to fall in love, we need to feel safe. That is a priority. Whether we verbalize that or not, we need that sense of safety and feeling accepted for who we are. Whether you're a man, whether you're a woman, regardless, we all have that desire. I want to feel safe. I want to feel accepted. And then the highlight, the cherry on the cake is, and I want to feel celebrated for that. Like, man, if you can find someone that makes you feel safe, accepted, and celebrated, woo, we're in love. Let's do life together. Here's a difference with men. Men really value their freedom. Think about it. Men back in the days, like it's still in the DNA. Men back in the days went out. They were the hunters. They went to war. They went out to go on a great adventure, which I think most men are missing. That's a whole other conversation. I think a lot of men are miserable and drink too much and are addicted to porn and can't connect with women and have a lot of emptiness on the inside because they are missing out on wild adventures. I think a lot of men have been too tamed and too neutered by society. And so they sit in cubicles every day. They go home, they watch Netflix, maybe they go to a gym. There's no adventure in their life. And they wonder why they're miserable. They're wondering why they always have this itch that can't be scratched, is because you're made for adventure and you're not going on it. So, with that being said, that men are made for that sort of adventure. Not to say that women aren't, because women love adventure too. But a man wants to know, like, am I still going to be free? Is this woman going to take my freedom away from me? Which is why I hate that expression of the old ball and chain. When people get married and everyone makes a joke and it's the woman dragging the man on the cake, or it's like a ball and chain. It's like, oh, he's stuck for the rest of his life. It's like, nobody wants that. A woman doesn't want that. Like, what good does a woman have or feel when she goes, "Whoa, I have this man and I keep him in this corner of my house and I never let him leave. And occasionally I feed him and I wash his clothes, but he never leaves." Like, no woman is going, "That's what I want in my life. If I could just find a man that I could lock in a room, just feed him, wash his clothes, life will be great for me." No, no woman is sitting around saying that. No one wants to feel that ball and chain. But a man wants to feel like, hey, I'm gonna get to have my sense of self. I'm gonna have my sense of freedom. I need to go on an adventure. And so you'll hear a lot of things where men get really messed up when a woman starts trying to control him by saying, like, I really don't want you to spend time with your friends. Like, do you really need to go ride your motorcycle today? Do you really need to go on that hike with your guy friends? Well, why can't I come? Like, why, why can't I tag along? And it's like, because he needs a sense of freedom. He needs to have that side of masculinity that can be wild, raw, and free, and to go and do that without you being there. And that's okay, because guess what? When I'm with my girls and we're having a glass of wine and we're talking, let me tell you what, I don't want my man there. I don't want any man there. It's me and my girl time. And I'm going to say things I would never say to a man. And I'm going to be crass and I'm going to be funny. And my girls are going to get it. And we're going to high five each other. And we're going to laugh till we pee in our pants. And it's going to be wonderful. And guess what? I don't want a man there because it's my girl time. And there are just certain ways that men and women that we relate, and we need that time to ourselves. But a man, when he's falling in love with a woman, on top of feeling safe, accepted, and as I said, the icing on the cake, the cherry on the top, feeling celebrated, he wants to know, am I still going to have my sense of freedom? And I think that when a relationship, when two people get to be free, when they get to have their own social circles and their own social activities, that relationship really sets up to thrive. I think that, when we need our partner around all the time and we don't have our own sense of self outside of the relationship, is really, as romantic as it may sound, it's codependency. It's really what it boils down to. And yeah, there are some couples that love to be with one another a lot, but it's just not the same. Like, when guys are off hunting together, it's just different than when girls are off drinking champagne and brunching together. They're just different experiences. And that we really find resonance with polarity. That's where the polarity becomes very exciting. So a man wants to know, like, hey, I want to give you my heart. Like, this woman is making me feel safe. She's making me feel accepted. I am feeling celebrated by her. But I need to know that that sense of freedom, that sense of going off on my own adventure, is not going to be taken away from me. I'm not going to be controlled. Here's the thing, though. I think this is my personal opinion, that even if when a man really knows himself, and this is why I've tried to equip people to be what I call, emotional warriors, which means speaking up for yourself, using your voice, not letting the past sabotage you, being able to articulate your needs to people. Like, all these things is being an emotional warrior, not running away from conflict. Like, a lot of times when I'm working with my clients one-on-one, it's like, a lot of times I remember one client, he got it just like that. He said, so what you're doing is you're asking me to stand in the midst of the tension. And I said, that's exactly what I'm empowering you to do. That when things feel awkward, when they feel intense, that you don't bail out of the conversation, that you have the emotional courage to stay in it, the fortitude to stay in it, look the other person in the eye and go, I'm not running away and I'm not backing down. So we're going to go through this. And so I believe that when a man is really secure in himself, not just as a man, but even emotionally secure. And that's something that's a journey I want to see more men go on, is getting more emotionally secure. When a man is emotionally secure of himself, he can say to his woman, hey, I feel like you're taking my freedom away. I'm not sure what this is about, but I can just tell you that my experience of this is, it's not great. I'm not feeling good. So can we have a conversation about this and see what we can do? Um, Nathan says conflict is actually good because at least you're communicating. That's absolutely right. I think that we've become so conflict avoidant, and I'm like, oh, come on, that's not real. That's not relationship. That's not life. Being avoiding conflict and just downplaying everything, that's spineless. It's weak. Maria says, I find pride in a man that can go out and be a man. Absolutely. It's super sexy. And it's like even in relationship when we find that, it's like creating that sense of freedom and permission, like, yes, man, you keep doing that. Don't turn that switch off. Orville says, yep, most men are missing their mojo. It's true. Cayman says, as a man, I like to have freedom even if I'm in a relationship. I feel like every man should go explore the world. I agree with you. I completely agree. Orville says, both guys and gals need some me time. I completely resonate with that. Yes. Davey says, great information, Erica. I'm so glad it's speaking to you. Nathan says, oh yeah, I just read that. Maria says, yes, I feel it's important a man has his privacy and space. Yes, I think that those are things that as human beings we all need. So, does a man fall in love differently? Yes, and I think a lot of men most of the time will take a more not all men, not to say all men are built this way, but a lot of men will take a more logical approach to things. They'll kind of like assess things like, okay, you know, like is she going to take my freedom away? Uh, am I still going to be attracted to her? I hear this from guys. What if I still want to have sex with other girls? Like there are all these things that men go through. Women think things through as well. They're like, what kind of father is he going to be? How's he going to treat me? Like, is he emotionally aware and safe within himself? Like, we all have our questions. I just think that most of the time men are a bit more analytical about that. And so as a woman, I think a woman has to be a bit more patient with a man in terms of explaining the process to him. I think that men, women are more planners than men. And I always say it this way. It's like a woman, she is genetically wired to carry a child within her body, which that concept in itself is still just like mind-boggling that one human being can carry another human being inside of their body for 9 months. It's just like mind blown, right? We've been doing it for years, but it's still fascinating. So with that, when she's responsible for this child, she has to have that wiring to plan, like, plan feedings, plan the diaper being changed, plan like his safety. Like women, I think, are innately built to plan out, whereas guys just go, like, oh yeah, I hear a lot of guys very flippant with their future. It's like, oh yeah, I want kids someday. Okay, are your finances in order to support that? No, I remember one guy and he was just like very adamant about like, oh yeah, I want children. I want children. But the guy wasn't doing anything to position himself to be emotionally ready for a relationship, just a complete playboy, and didn't have his finances in order. And I just wanted to say, like, one, what woman is going to settle down with you because you're all over the place and your eyes are everywhere? What woman is ever going to feel safe in being in your presence and calling you her man? And two, how are you going to pay for this kid and these children that you think you want to have? And so women kind of tend to plan a bit more than men. So in that, when a man is falling in love and he's got like his like ideas about love and his ideas of what could and could not go wrong, a woman sometimes has to be a bit patient and talk that through with him, like this is what relationship would look like for us if it were up to me. Like she gives him a layout of like what the future could look like so that he has a perceived picture of like, okay, if I give up my freedom, this is what I'm exchanging it for. And so she has to kind of have the patience to lay that out, as opposed to like, well, you just don't feel it. You just don't want to be in love with me. You just like you don't value me. You don't see a future. And it's like, whoa, calm down, calm down, calm down. He's just processing differently than you, and it's okay. Each of our processes are better. He might need you to kind of spell out what relationship and being in love with you looks like, and painting the picture for him and kind of guiding him through that process. And it's the same thing for us as women, like, not saying that every woman is like this, but if we get emotionally charged about something, sometimes it is nice to have a man just kind of sit down, hear us out, say, hey, would you like some feedback or suggestion? Yes, no, okay, here it is, or here it's not. We all need a bit of hand holding when it comes to relationships because we are wired differently. And so when a woman is, when a man's falling in love, he doesn't need some hand holding. He needs you to explain things to him, to show him like what the relationship could look like. Because when he has an idea of like what life with you is going to look like he's not going to lose his freedom. You're not going to change. You're going to continue to accept him. You're going to continue to celebrate him. When he gets an understanding of that, it creates safety in him to let his guards down and to let his heart overflow and to fall in love with you. Does that make any sense to you guys? Um, Gaza says, Erica, if it's okay with you, I would love to share your link on my YouTube channel. Us guys need your guidance. Of course, I would love for you to share my work. That means the world to me. Nathan says, do you think some women can't handle an emotionally aware man? That's a good question because here's the thing. Even Brene Brown says this. She talks a lot about vulnerability. And she said that she had a man walk up to her in one of her speeches, or maybe she was signing books, and he said something and it kind of blew her out of the water. And he was like, you women sit there and say that you want vulnerability. And then when a man is vulnerable, you don't know how to handle it. Here's what I have to say with that. Here's a hard truth to say with that. A woman who is dependent on her man to save her will feel disappointed and not caught by her man when he is weak. But a woman who has learned how to sustain herself, and it's a tricky line because you both want to feel like you can sustain yourselves, but yet also open up with that tenderness and that vulnerability of I still need you. And interdependence on one another. But interdependence does not mean I give up all of my independence. I give up all of my capabilities of being able to sustain myself. That's not what interdependence is. It says we bring both of our strengths together and we intertwine them. And at the time where you're weak, I'm going to be strong and I'm going to cover you. And when you're weak, I'm going to be strong and I'm going to cover you. And I would say that women who are looking for men to save them will be disappointed when a man gets vulnerable, when a man is emotionally aware. And I think in some regards, society has kind of set women up to believe that of like, a man should just, it's a knight in shining armor and he should just be everything for you. Bullshit. Like you should be emotionally responsible for yourself. Yes, you're going to have weak days. Yes, you're going to be a basket case and he's going to need to have your back. And guess what? There are going to be days that he gets kicked in the balls and he's going to be struggling with life and he just wants to break down and cry. And that's okay too. That's when your strength, you nurture him, you bring him in and say, baby, it's okay. Let it out. We're going to figure this out. We're going to find a solution. But right now, I am here for you. So my answer to that man who said that to Brene Brown, I would have said, I'm so sorry that your wife is giving you this experience. It sounds like your wife doesn't know how to emotionally support herself and she's dependent on you. And when you have a bad moment, she feels like her whole world has fallen apart because you have fallen apart. And that's an error on her part that she needs to work out within herself, because both people need to have the capacity to fall apart or be vulnerable and be emotionally aware in a relationship. So, Nathan, to your question, my answer would be a woman who is emotionally sustained within herself, that knows how to take care of herself emotionally, is going to she's going to value a man who's emotionally aware. And the reason why she's going to value it is because she knows the work that it takes to get there. And so there's that value for it because she's had to do it for herself. But a woman who has not gone on the journey to become emotionally responsible, and she's just hoping that any man's going to come and accept her for the hot mess that she is, and she never has to get better. She just goes, I have a vagina, so you should forgive me and you should just accept me for who I am. No, it is a woman who's gone, you know what? I have my demons. I'm facing my demons. I know how to regulate myself emotionally. I know how to breathe. I know how to manage through life's difficulties. And it's not your responsibility every time to do that. And I know that because I've done it for myself and I'll continue to do it for myself in the relationship. When she sees that a man has that same wherewithal, she's going to respect him. She's going to value him because she's done the same thing for herself. Jason says, it's so nice to see you do live videos again. Thank you. Orville says, agreed. I need some water. I don't know why these invisible braces, I'm just dehydrated all the time with them. I think because I don't close my mouth properly. Do men handle the truth more than women do? I don't think that's another one that I don't think it's a man or a woman thing. I've seen a lot of men handle truth with tons of fear, meaning instead of dealing with the truth, they lie. And I don't think that men or women handle the truth better. I think that people who have become solid in themselves and who consciously live life by speaking their truth, that those people handle the truth much better. But a person who has gone through life by avoiding conflict, whether they're a man or a woman, will do terrible when there's truth to be had. Nat says, in my past, I let my focus into sex, and that was absolutely wrong and want to understand women more. That's why I follow your work for about a year. Wow, Nat, thank you so much. I know when I've been in this business for 14 years, and I've had lots of, I'll call them acquaintances instead of friends. I've had acquaintances throughout the years who gave lots of sex advice to men. And my challenge with them that were so heavy in just giving sex advice is, but you're actually not equipping men to sustain relationship, because most men will tell you who have gone out and had tons of sex. At the end of the day, it's like, then it just starts becoming sex and they want that connection. And so you can't have connection by being disassociated from your heart and your feelings. And I think a lot of sex advice keeps people stuck in their head and less in their bodies, which seems counterintuitive, but it does, because it makes it about a game and about achievement, as opposed to connecting with someone from and through the chambers of one's heart. I'm so glad you're here. I'm really grateful that you're here, and I hope that my work is really helping bring some clarity for you in that. Maria says, I actually find it a beautiful thing when my strong man is feeling vulnerable. I love to be needed by him. Yes, that's the one. I thank you so much for sharing that, Maria. I think that is such a powerful thing. One, for a woman to recognize and to do for her man, and to be voiced, because at the end of the day, I always tell, when I'm working with men, I always say to men, if you're never vulnerable, if you're never soft, what you are doing is you are cutting off a woman's arms and her legs, because as a woman, we have this innate ability to have empathy and compassion for you. And when you shut that off and you tell a woman, I don't need to cry, I don't need to be sad, I don't need to show you my feelings, you are essentially chopping off what is innately put in her to support you with. And you, it's that expression, you're cutting off your nose to spite your face. When you tell a woman you don't need her there, essentially you've told a part of her heart that it's not needed. And that can create some severe ramifications in a relationship when that kind of language is being used. But when a man is vulnerable and then a woman shows up in her superpower of compassion and empathy, then it's like you let her be freaking superwoman. She's much stronger than you think. And when you let her show up in the relationship from her heart, the cape comes on and she becomes your Superman. And together she grabs you and you guys soar through your life's challenges. But if you constantly tell a woman that you don't need her because you're not vulnerable and you don't have emotions and you don't want to share your emotions, you are removing her cape. You're removing what she is innately designed to do for you. And you are cutting yourself off short from all the love that you could potentially and fully receive. You are doing yourself an injustice when you show up this way. Blair says it's better to have your heart cracked open for love than having your heart closed off from everyone. Absolutely. I think always having, even if you've been hurt, even when you've been disappointed, it's keeping that window of opportunity open within yourself of saying, I don't know how this is going to come into my life. And I can't say that I'm fully ready, but there's a part of me that is open. And it's having even that small posturing that can really change your experience. Davey says, yes, feeling supported by my partner when I'm having a weak moment is so important. I don't want a woman who kicks me when I'm down. And most of the time, a woman who is going to kick a man when she's down is because there's someone in her life that has not fostered and nurtured that tender side of her, where she has been taught that you have to be hard, you have to be cold. And so therefore she's not in a position to give to you because it hasn't been fostered inside of her and she hasn't taken the time to foster it within herself. Orville Nation says, yep. Nathan says, thank you for the explanation. Oh, thank you so much, Caligula Bear. He says, yes, get Arica's vulnerability course, guys. It's very powerful. Yeah, my vulnerability course, I think, my emotional warrior course is my favorite. But I would say if my clients and the people who buy my courses, I would say that everyone says that the vulnerability course is their favorite. It's powerful. I guess emotional warrior is a bit long, so maybe that's why it's not everyone's favorite. But I'm like, it's the one that will change your life. But you need the vulnerability course to get inside the emotional warrior course. Like it will make you understand it even more. Thank you for that, Caligula Bear. Orville Nation, Maria is loving that response for sure. Arica reads minds, it seems. I don't know if I read minds, but I think I'm highly connected and in tune. So I feel people and I'm very connected to source. So sometimes it feels like I'm reading people's minds, but I'm just really connected, which is nice. That's Orville says that's exactly right. It hasn't been fostered in her. Supreme Heretic, that is a YouTube name, says, I'm better off alone. I've loved in my life, so I've been there and done that. I've been alone for 14 years. I can do it until I die. I'm curious if you feel like every day that you're slowly dying by not having love. And that's not a judgment. It's an actual sincere question. Do you feel like you are living life to the fullest? Do you feel like that you are able to experience the full capacity of life without love? It's a question for you. Davey says, Arica shares so much wisdom, way better than the tricks and quick fixes that some people are selling. Yeah, because at the end of the day, like quick tricks and quick fixes, like don't solve anything. They're never sustainable. They may give your ego a momentary high, but when that same challenge comes, and it does because you didn't go through it, you tried to like BS your way out of it, it's going to show up again. So you might as well create a way that sustains yourself so that when challenges come, you can go through them every time, as opposed to being a little coward and running from them. Let's see. Derek says, women that kick men when they're down have insecurities that need to get rid of, release their lost baggage. That's very true. Aaron says, I think I messed up. I told a woman I like a lot. I didn't need her. She shut off and stopped talking to me. It's been 5 months, but I started working on myself and meditation and connecting with. I hope you're doing my meditation, Aaron, and connecting with my higher self. I really, really hope that you are doing my connection meditation. And yeah, I agree with you. I don't want to rub salt into your wound, but that was a big mistake to tell a woman that you didn't need her. And it's the same when a woman says that to a man. When we tell another human being, I don't need you, you're essentially saying, I don't need your love. I don't need who you are as a person. And I personally believe this is not advice. This is just my own personal belief system. I believe that when we cut people off, we're essentially cutting off a part of God, because I believe that God has deposited him, herself, and every single one of us. And when we reject a person, there's an aspect of God that we're rejecting, and we don't get the full capacity of God when we reject people. Supreme Heretic said, I just lost my mom 2 months ago. Oh, I am so, so, so sorry. I'm really sorry to hear that. And you're 48. You, I feel like I can function without a girlfriend or wife. I hear you. What I hear you saying is that you're having a lot of pain, and so the potential of more pain coming into your life if a relationship were to fail would probably do you in. And so yeah, my heart goes out to you, and I'm really sorry that you're going through this. And yes, please be gentle with yourself. You know yourself. I would just encourage you, Supreme Heretic, that you keep a little bit of an openness inside of you. Maybe you're not ready to be with someone again and let love in today. But who knows about 2 months from now, 2 years from now? So I'm saying, I'm encouraging you, don't shut the door. Don't do yourself that disservice. Yes, you can function in life, but there's so much more to life than just functioning. We were put on this planet to do far more than just function. We're not robots, by the way. But yes, I do understand you are going through quite a bit. So be gentle with yourself. And I'm just grateful that you are here. It means the world to me. Um, Aaron says, I feel like reaching out. Crap. It's like a punch to the face noticing this now. There's no time limit that says you can't reach out. You can absolutely reach out and say, hey, I just want to tell you, the thing is, this is what you don't want to do. When you reach out to her, don't reach out with an agenda thinking that you're going to get her back. People, when they sense and they sniff an agenda, they just put up their walls. But if you can wholeheartedly go to her and say, listen, I just need to say, like, you offered me something so beautiful 5 months ago. And out of my immaturity and out of my own hurt and my own ignorance, I said, I don't need you. And that was such a stupid thing for me to say. And I hope that someday you can find it in your heart to forgive me for saying that. And you park it there. You don't ask her for coffee. You don't ask her for anything. You park it there and let her come to you. So this is about at the 51-minute mark, Aaron. If I were you, once this video finishes, I would come back, watch that, write that down verbatim, communicate that to her, and see if that opens a door for you. DG27 says, because women earn more money nowadays, do you think that finding a partner is more difficult? Yeah, I think that we're in a bit of a pendulum right now, right? And I've talked about this before. I don't think that finding a partner is difficult because two people are now earning money. I mean, that's great. Like, it's more money, right? More money means more access, more freedom. Wonderful. The challenge is that for a lot of us women, and I will put myself in this, that to get to that place to make our own money, that we have had to overly tap into our masculine side, because our society, we're still trying to find that way to where you can be successful and be an entrepreneur without being overly masculine. There needs to be that middle ground where we can do it with both energies, the masculine energy, the feminine energy. We're not there yet. It's still very masculine. I mean, so I think as a woman, the challenge is it to be able to show up in today's landscape as an entrepreneur, as someone who's making their own money, their own bread, does require some masculinity, because that's the infrastructure right now. And so with that, oh my God, you guys are so sweet. Davey just gave $20. Orville just gave 5. Oh my God, you guys, this is so sweet. You're touching my heart. Wow. Oh, that means that it's just like so, so, so sweet. Thank you guys. That really blesses my heart. Thank you for that. Oh, it touches me. It means the world to me. Um, but with that, we have, as a woman, it's super tricky to go, okay, that's the landscape. I've had to show up more masculine. Now, shit, how do I show up in relationship more tender? And I have to say, it is a real dance. And I sometimes, I'll be honest with you guys, sometimes even in my relationships, sometimes it's a real battle. And I've caught myself, I saw myself dating in the past and going, whoa, you're coming off super masculine. And I had a dear friend of mine. This is why I always say, like, keep your heart open to intimacy and doing life and friendship with the people around you, even before you get into a relationship, because that can be life changing in and of itself. You get to practice with your friends and your family. I had a really good close friend. He's like a brother to me. And he said to me very straight up, because I was in a very masculine phase in my life of like making it happen with my business. And he said, Erica, nobody wants to F a dude. And he said, you're too masculine and no guy wants to have with another man. Like, unless, you're gay, but he's like, a heterosexual man doesn't want that energy. And that was like, to the face. And, and I would see the guys that I didn't work out with dating women who were far more feminine than me and far maybe, and in my mind, I was like, yeah, but they're not as successful as I am. So who cares? And I had to humble myself and say, listen, Erica, like, okay, yes, they are choosing feminine women who are not as successful as you, who are maybe more dependent on you, and you don't want that. But don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. You can still be tender while still having that masculine edge of what it requires to run your business. So I think as women, I'm just asking, if you're a man, just please be patient with us and please just give us some grace as we find our way through maintaining and living in our tenderness and our femininity, while also still like having to pay our bills and become financially independent as well. So we're in the middle of it. We're not there yet. It's a journey. And I'm just saying, have grace in the middle of the journey. Just like men, it's like men need, and that's in order for us to get along and really thrive in a relationship, men are going to have some grace with women and being a bit more masculine and help nurture that tender, create a safe place for that tenderness to come out. And women equally are going to have to show up as men fumbled their way through being more emotional and being more emotionally aware and being more vulnerable and the messiness of what it looks like for them, because that's so foreign. So we're in a wild pendulum, but it's beautiful because there's movement, there's forward motion. So that is wonderful. Nathan says, good advice, Erica. I believe there's a bit of God and the devil in each of us, and I'm Buddhist. Figured that one out. I love it. Supreme Heretic says, I just started attending Mass again. I'm reconnecting with the Lord. That's the best relationship to fix. It is. And I love that you're starting there. But remember that God dwells, He chooses to humble Himself and dwell within mankind. And so at some point, in order to love God, we have to love man, we have to love woman as well. Just going to throw that out there. Aaron says, got it. Thank you. Oh, I had a bunch of jumps. Davey, once again, thank you guys so much. That really just blesses my heart and touches me, and just thank you for that. When I'm finished with this live, I'm going to go out and explore Prague a little bit and have a glass of wine and just think of your generosity to me. It really, you have no idea how much this touches my heart. Thank you guys for this. Orville says, I hope you realize, Erica, the wonderful work you're doing just by creating discussion on your streams. Many, many blessings to you, PJ. Oh, Orville, thank you. I really love being able to give and to serve in this capacity. But I also just, I always say love is giving and receiving. And for me to just show up and give, is only part of love, but being able to receive the feedback and the kind words and even the financial generosity, like that's the receiving part of love in my journey with this. And so to be able to receive this from you guys, like really touches me. I don't think it's good to just give, give, give. I think we have to receive as well. And so for you guys to be so kind and generous to me, like that really fills up my cup. So when I'm having a glass of wine, I'm going to be thinking of you guys and the love that you're sharing as I share. And it's just, it just really touches my heart. Thank you. Um, what do you mean by that, Nathan? It sounds like you're getting into the DM and DF part. What does that mean? I've realized I'm the dominant male and the dominant female. Is that what that means? 2020 is God horrible. We all hate it. Yeah, but there's a different spin to that, and I won't go into this, but some people believe that it's to birth an awakening, and I'm of that mindset that it is. Maria says, "Hey Drew, Supreme Heritage, we'll see. I don't know if things are ever going to clear for me. Supreme, I just, I release so much hope to you, darling, that even when you don't have hope for yourself, that I hope that the love and from myself and the people here for you, that you just know that you're not alone, babe. And yeah, you've been through a lot, and just know that you're loved, and that the hope that we have for you, that in itself is enough seed to spring more hope and a turnaround for your life." Supreme Heretic says, no woman in her right mind would take a look at me right now. You know what? But when we look through eyes of the heart, you'd be surprised what we can see. And I would say that even though you feel down, that there's far more beauty that's inside of you and shining through you, whether you realize it or not. I always tell people that when they're going through a hard time, like sometimes you can just see like a different side to people, and they may be carrying the weight of their problems, but who they are, their character, their essence, their glory still shines through. And so while you may not see your beauty, while you may not see your glory because you're so burdened through the hardships of life, I promise you that there are other people who can see your beauty, and that you still have a capacity to be able to be loved. And thank you for your donation, Supreme. Thank you. That is so kind of you. I really appreciate that. That is super, super sweet. Thank you. Um, Nirvana says it's called evolution. Troy says, "How can you love God whom you can't see if you don't love your neighbor who you can see?" Ooh, mic drop right there. Everyone's saying, "Hi, Troy. Hi, Troy. I love you. I love this." Kaluga. Ooh, Kaluga. I'm so interested. Oh, I would love to have like more of a conversation with you about this. Kaluga says, "I agree about the awakening." Yeah, because Kaluga, when you and I were hanging out, when I had the members group, we were talking about this, and it's easy to throw out concepts like that, like at the beginning, but now we're seeing it actually playing out, and I'm like, it's a huge awakening going on. It's fascinating. Um, divine masculine, divine feminine. Thank you for that clarification. I feel kind of silly that I went the opposite direction. Thank you for that. That's beautiful. Yes. Troy says, "Hey, Supreme Heretic, I totally get where you're at. I've been there." Isn't that so? Troy, thank you for saying that to Supreme, because I think that's it. When we go through hard times, this chat has gone from how men fall in love to like different directions. And I love that, because that is the human experience. It's not linear. It's like this. It's like those pictures that they show you. It's like you think success is like this, but success is really like that. And that's a human experience. That's relationships. So we started with one topic and now we're here. And what I want to say to you, Troy, is thank you so much for saying that to Supreme Heretic, because just someone acknowledging it and saying, "Hey, I've been where you've been. Like it sucks, it hurts, and it's no fun." I think lets all of us feel less alone. I think when we're going through hard times, we think we're a loser, or life's just working against us and we're all alone. And when we just have someone come next to us and say, "Hey, I've been there before. It's hard. And I promise you that you're not only going to make it, but you are going to see brighter days." And Supreme, I'm a person who's been through a lot of hard stuff. since I was 7 years old and onward, and a lot of loss, a lot of tragedy, and when it feels like the world is burying you under, and you're just in a grave in and of itself, somehow the sun manages to shine. Somehow flowers still bloom from the ground. So I'm just sending you so much love. I hope that you can feel that from me. And just to remind you that you are loved and that you're supported. And thank you for coming here and being a part of my community. Oh, Davy says, you've spoken directly to some experiences I've been having. I appreciate it. I love that. This is the beauty of these live chats. This is why I love them. I'm so glad I'm back to doing a lot of these, is because of these moments just like this. So, guys, I am going to sign off because it's 6 o'clock here in Prague, and we've been here for an hour, and it's been beautiful. And I've been so grateful to connect with every single one of you guys. I just want to remind you, if you are new here, make sure that you get that connection meditation on my website. It's a mind movie that you can watch. It really prepares your subconscious to be able to receive love, to remove any blocks, any barriers that stops you from getting love. And you can also download it and listen to it as an audio. Listen to it every morning, listen to it every night for the next month to develop a new habit. I am going back live on Monday. I'm not going to be live tomorrow. We are traveling from Prague to Germany. We're going to Berlin. It's my first time in Berlin. I am going to meet up with a girlfriend and her boyfriend, friends of mine from Bali. How beautiful is this world that I have friends that I met in Bali, and now we're going to meet in Berlin, Germany. I've never been to Berlin, so I'm so excited. Supreme Heretic says, Erica, I have been in the trials of Job on steroids. Sorry, I just moved your comment. For the better part of the past 2 or 3 years. I'm so sorry, darling. I'm so, so sorry. I'm sending you so much love. So much love. Yeah, I had a sister who was hit by a drunk driver in 2010. And for about 2 or 3 years, we never knew if she was going to live or die. She's still with us, thank God. But I've been there, and I'm telling you what, when it's that long, you feel like it's just never going to get better. And I'm living in Prague, or I'm not living, I'm in Prague right now. The sun is shining on me. And I promise you, Supreme Heretic, that those 2 or 3 years, I didn't think I would ever get to have life again. It was so heavy that time. And so I just want to remind you that someone who's gone through some it does, the sun does come. And I just hope that touches you, even if in a little way. Orville says, oh, thank you for your donation. That is so kind. You said we all did a little right on your channel from our community today, Erica. Your words are much needed in our sci-fi community. Thank you so much for your donation. That means so, I don't even know what to call them. You call them donation, a gift. Thank you for your gift, I should say. Thank you for, I'm not a charity, I'm a business. So thank you for your gift. It means the world to me. I'm just grateful to have you guys here. Maria Witelli, thank you so much. That's so sweet of you. Thank you for helping men see we are not as complicated as they may think, right? Because they've been taught that we're super complicated, but we're going to change that up. And helping me understand how to touch his heart. Thank you so much for your gift. It means so much to me. Thank you. Thank you. I really appreciate it. You guys have just like lit me up today. It's so kind. Thank you. So yes, I'll be back Monday. Bonsoir, Davy. I'm not going to say this right, Orville. Dockland. I'm not saying it right, but yeah, I'm excited to go to Germany. Thank you, Meher. I'm going to have a great weekend. I'm going to head back to France on Sunday, so that's going to be wonderful. Thank you, Nirvana, for being here. Orville, yes, thank you for what you said about my sister. It has been one of the longest journeys of our lives and one of the scariest. And yet here we are, and she's still here, and she's still breathing and kicking and smiling and just bringing us so much life. So we're grateful to still have her here with us. Oh my God, Mayor Justice, thank you so much. You just gave me a gift. He says, just for being you and helping us all. You guys, oh my God, this is This is so wonderful. Thank you so much. I so appreciate you guys. You're so kind and special. Thank you. Thank you, Maria, for saying that. Sorry about my sister. Her name is Sarah. If you ever want to say a prayer for my sister, Sarah, we're still praying for her recovery and that one day we will get her back at full capacity. But yeah, it's a very delicate area of my heart. So if you could say a prayer for Sarah, that would mean the world to me. We want her to be fully restored. Thank you, Caligula Bear. Yes, safe travels. Thank you for that. Absolutely. Derek says, I lost my dad 3 years ago this September. I'm grateful that he made me the man I am today. He is with me all the time. That is powerful. And that is so beautiful. Thank you for sharing that, Derek. I'm glad that you can still feel his presence with you. I've never lost a parent, so I don't even know what that experience is like. I'm sorry that you went through that, but I'm so grateful that you still feel his presence with you. That is exceptional in and of itself. Thank you, Maria. Thank you, Nathan. Thank you guys for this safe travels. Thank you, Ninja Wolf, for your compassion. Thank you, Erin, for what you said. I just love you guys. Yes, her name is Sarah. Thank you. Maria says, I am a Zen priest. I will dedicate the merits of my sitting in her name. Thank you so much. Thank you, Maher. Prayers to you and Sarah. Hope for speedy recovery. Thank you, guys. That means the world to me. Well, guys, this has been a very special, intimate live. This has been really powerful. And I'm just so, so grateful for you guys. You guys are phenomenal. And just know that you are loved, that this is a safe place for you to come and not only get wisdom and direction and advice, but also to be loved and to be supported. So thank you for showing up with your own wisdom that you've contributed. Thank you for showing up with your questions. Thank you for your advice that you've shared, and also for some of you with your vulnerabilities and your struggles. I appreciate you guys. I'm so, so grateful, and I can't wait to see you guys on Monday. Sending you love. I hope you guys all have a beautiful weekend. Get that connection medication. Medication is like medication. Get that connection meditation. It will change your life. And I can't wait to hear on Monday how many of you got it and to see what your experience is with it. I love you guys. See you on Monday. I'm gonna go enjoy some of Prague and then Germany this weekend. I love you guys. See you Monday. Bye. You take care and be loved.